There's some things that I'm seeing in the public square that I think is a little strange, and it's ever increasing. I want to talk about it in this video, and I'm curious to see if you have noticed the same thing. Stick around. I'm a quiet and peaceful person. I keep to my own for the most part. I wouldn't consider myself a hermit, but I do like to get back home to the open air, the open space. I like to be where it's quiet. I'm not one of those guys that says I can't stand people. My heart is not hardened like that. I love people. I think people are quite difficult. I'm not running from people. I just like being where it's quiet. Man, if I can be in an environment where, I'm having a good time with people, that's a wonderful thing. But there are some things that seem to be reoccurring with people when I go out in public. Strange things, strange behaviors. What I'm hoping to accomplish with this video is to kind of put a mirror in front of you. And if you find yourself falling into these things, maybe this is an opportunity to step back and say, you know what, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like the crowd. One thing I've noticed is that people are in a frenzy and they're in a hurry like I have never seen before. There's this chaos with people now. I find myself doing things at times when I believe the traffic will be less, where the crowds will be smaller in the grocery stores and things like that, just because of the energy that people bring to the table. I was riding around on some back roads the other day, just cruising with my windows down in my truck, listening to the radio, relaxing, having a good time. I was heading over to a cookout. And this guy's just behind me, just tailgating me, and instead of allowing him to get under my skin and get my nerves all worked up, you know what I did? I just pulled over at the next place where I could and just let him go around me. And I got back to my cruise and I got back to enjoying myself. We've got to be careful not to let the frenzy that people are operating in to attach itself to us. We have to protect our own peace and make sure that we're not acting like everybody else who seems to be caught up in some fire drill all the time. Lack of preparedness and organization from somebody else doesn't constitute an emergency for me. Being a proactive person is a badge of honor. Being able to step out from all of this chaos and atmosphere where people are running behind and everything's got to be done yesterday is a choice. I'm noticing that people are also becoming a lot less friendly, a lot less cordial. It's getting to the point to where if you smile at someone out in public or if you say, "Excuse me," people think that's weird. I know over the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a massive political divide in our country and people have a lot more things to fight about, it seems. It didn't seem that way when I was young. It seems that way now. And I know all that stuff is going on, but I still don't think that's an excuse to not be decent or cordial. Someone may think, oh, they look like a conservative, I'm not going to be nice to them, vice versa. They look like a liberal, I'm not going to be nice to them. Listen, we don't have to be a jerk and we don't have to walk around like we're mad all the time to have a good sense of situational awareness. If I'm walking past you and I hit you with one of these, that's just me showing you some respect and some acknowledgement. I'm moving on. I'm not trying to stand there and have a conversation, but people think any kind of connection nowadays is weird. People walk right past the grocery aisle. They walk right past people nowadays like they're not even there. Which leads to my next point. We're becoming a society of zombies. There's been a lot of talk about the zombie apocalypse, for the last several years. And I can't help but believe that that's some kind of omen, some kind of metaphor, not for a real zombie apocalypse like Return of the Living Dead, but the way our society is actually becoming. People, especially in these bigger cities, just walk around like they're on some sort of assembly line, man. It's like everybody's just going in the same direction. They don't feel anything. They don't see anything. They're just programmed to do a few certain things. Much of this has a lot to do with the fact that people have a screen in their face all the time now. They're so used to being entertained by a screen that they have forgotten to actually flow and function in real life. I think people need to learn to put their phones down and go do real life menial things. Go do something boring. It will be amazing for you. Go have an experience that doesn't have to be shared on social media. I don't mind social media, but it's not always a real life depiction of how that person's life is going. It's a highlight reel for the most part. Nowadays, people will friend you on Facebook, but not speak to you in public. We can refuse to be zombies. We can refuse to live our life like we're on some assembly line. We can be real people with real feelings and emotions, and we can care about others. We don't have to let our hearts grow cold just because of the lawlessness that's abounding in the world. Why does that darkness have to get on the inside of us and affect the way we live and the way we feel toward others? I don't have to hate you just because I disagree with you. In a lot of ways, I feel like movies like The Matrix are a metaphor for the way our world has become. And it's quite eerie how common these things I have described are becoming with a large part of the masses. Listen, I know times are hard. I know inflation is terrible. I know that a lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. We all face hard times. We all face struggles. But the moment those things become our identity, we're going to start going downhill. People are impatient, they're rude, they're in a hurry, they're in a frenzy, they are unapproachable, they're unfriendly, unloving, and they're walking around like zombies, man. Regardless of your worldview, your religion, or your stance on life, it does not have to be this way. We can be people again. We don't have to turn inward and grow cold toward everybody else. Newsflash, you're not going to find peace that way. You might find a false sense of peace, but it's not going to bring peace and light to other people. Maybe you don't care about that, but you should. I want to be a lighthouse in this world. I want to be a place that people can retreat to where there's darkness everywhere. Somebody that cares for other people. Somebody that's willing to step in. Somebody that's willing to act like a human being. We don't have to let the nature of this world or the crap that's going on every day harden our hearts and turn us into something that's no longer human.